welcome back to Rain Boots and Radish Roots. I'm Tanya. We live in Raleigh, North Carolina, and we are in zone 7B8A, literally right on the border. And we are overdue for a garden tour. So this is what I'm gonna call raw, no makeup, and no hair. Hair was not done. Real life. This is real life. This is what it looks like. We're in the greenhouse right now. We do have a shade cloth over the greenhouse. I think you can kind of see the shadow in the back, which has made it tolerable for me to be in here and work in here when I need to. And it's keeping our plants from just cooking instead of being nice and toasty warm in their lovely little humid air blanket. So what I have going on right now are really the last of the tomato seedlings, and I also have some pepper seedlings, although I've already potted up all the peppers I want. I have some people who will probably want some, so I'm just letting them grow a little bit bigger. And then I also have my Mexican gherkins and my celery seedlings coming up. Finally, they are coming up. But you'll see I bought some celery, so they're also coming up. The other thing that you can see right here is so when I was growing the potatoes with the pumpkins, they will actually grow really well together, but there's a much higher risk of powdery mildew on the pumpkins or the squash, depending on what you're growing it with, because of all the foliage from the potatoes. And since I have a 40-foot bed of potatoes, I went ahead and just ripped those out. But they are the cutest little, I think I can use them as seed potatoes because they're like the perfect size for a seed potato. So that's kind of cool. I'm excited about that. It's windy out today, so hopefully you'll be able to hear me. We got a big rainstorm yesterday, which brought a cold front through. Like our high today is like 61, where it was 91. Yeah, 2 days ago. And though it did rain a lot, I mean, like it poured, it was still less than 1/4 inch of rain. So I still watered this morning. And I think that's a really important thing to know. If you can get yourself a rain gauge and put it out there, don't forget to dump it after the rain and check and see, 1, how much are you watering if you're using sprinklers, and 2, how much did it actually rain? Because just because it rained does not mean that your garden got enough rain or water. All right, so let's go take a tour. Recording. Okay, here we are on our front porch. I actually have a whole bunch of tomatillo starts that I'm just like, I sold some, I have some for neighbors. I just planted too many seedlings and I couldn't bring myself to just compost them, so I have too many. But I'm gonna go ahead and turn you around here and we'll get started with the nasturtiums, and then we'll work our way back down into the garden. Okay, you can see it is so windy out today, but these are getting so much bigger. I thought they really didn't like the cold, but they're really handling this cool day nicely. But this one in particular, just if you think that it looks like it's dying, it isn't, is what I've discovered. And like these, let me see, let's go down here. These have definitely doubled in size in the past week. They're so humongous. These actually seem to be doing a little bit better. And this is calendula. And the calendula over here is looking way better than the one out in the garden. And this is mostly shade. It only gets like a little bit of evening sun. The ones out in the garden get full sun all day long. I'm feeling like they just maybe don't like that. See, there's my tomatillo starts. And then I also have my mullein, which I need to plant. I bought this from Azure Standard because the one I seeded and tried to grow just didn't do well. But this is looking beautiful, and so soft. Oh my goodness. We have a lot of asthmatics in our family, so that's going to help us out a lot. And I won't have to buy it anymore. Okay, so here you can see, this is really all of our tiny little pepper starts. I have them in the bed they're gonna go in. This is way too many. We're not gonna be planting all of these in this bed, but I'm really just seeing who is going to survive. This right here, this is my salt and pepper cucumbers. Are just little tiny babies right now, but they're kind of little, like everyone has one sad leaf, and I don't know why, because they're really in like the perfect spot for growing what cucumbers really like. I think what happened was we had that light frost, and that's what got those leaves. That makes sense, actually. The medicinal bed is looking so much better, but you can see like the calendula right here does not look nearly as good as the one up on the porch. And these are in full sun. They are planted the same time, exact same time. And the dill is finally looking a little better. It was like, I don't want to say sunburned, but kind of just unhappy and toasty. So, this is my cute little, look at my cute little rain gauge. My yarrow, I already cut it once, but look, it has definitely bounced back. And I have to keep saving it because the peas try to strangle it. You can guide pea plants in the direction you want them to go, but you just kind of have to keep doing it and keep doing it. For some reason, they're just really like to lay the other direction. And we have a little blossom. I'm so excited. So excited. These are green peas. We got our catnip coming along. The echinacea is really bouncing back. It's tiny. It'll grow. Valerian, I'm really, can't even see it honestly from here. I don't think it's gonna make it. We got a toothache plant over there. That's kind of fun too. And some more yarrow down at the end. The ginger that I planted is still not up, so I think that I'll give it till probably June to come up, and if it doesn't, I'm gonna put something else there. We're not really in the right climate for ginger anyway. Sean's over there putting up the lines for our grapevines. You can tell, like, we're literally sweating and taking breaks so we didn't have like heat exhaustion a couple of days ago, and now we're in long sleeves. But these are, on this end we have table grapes, which are doing really well, and then down at this end we have wine grapes, red wine grapes.
I like to lay down and let people feed
You want to lay down? I do not volunteer for that position. I bet the kids would though. Oh, guess what? Look at all of the black beans that have finally popped up. I guess I did go back and reseed some of them. But these really just popped up, and they're nice dark green. They look so much better than the first batch that came through. And just as a side note, the seedlings that popped up with no leaves on them at all did end up growing leaves. So if your bean seedlings pop up and they don't have leaves on them, they will grow leaves. But I'm really excited because this bed was nearly empty just last week. And our rainbow Swiss chard is looking well. Our snow peas are taller than the green peas that I just showed you, but I see no blossoms, which is like a problem that I've had. Beautiful bushes and no pods. Hopefully that's not what happens this year. This is celery that I bought from Azure Standard. If you didn't know that you could buy plants from Azure Standard, you can. So I've got my 3 celery here beside the garlic, and then I've got my tomatillos started in here. I am gonna have to cage these because they grow like tomatoes slash pepper. They grow like tomatoes slash pepper, so they're gonna need a cage. I'm not gonna stake them, I am gonna cage them. And here's where I pulled out all of those potatoes. So these are where the pumpkins are growing. They're looking great. These pumpkins are actually looking a lot better than the pumpkins right here. Like, they're on the exact same side of the bed. They get the same amount of water. But these pumpkins get more sun. And this strawberry patch is like a wasp village. I sit out here in the evening and watch wasps just fly in and out. They love it. But I'm definitely yanking those up. They're just too old, and it's too big of a bed space to give up. And then,
Shame.
I mean, they're not giving us enough strawberries for me to warrant that much space.
You've had them a long time. Did they only have like a certain lifespan?
Yeah, these have been here like 5 years, so they need to get yanked up. This is where the cucamelons are going to go in as soon as they're big enough, along with the other cucumbers. These cucumbers look happier than the other ones. Then I've got all my marigold. Those are some kind of a gem. They're like a mix of a lemon gem, a red gem, and a tangerine gem to help. I have them in there so they can help. But in this bed, once I rip this out, my plan is to put in some sorrel, more of that celery, and okra. And I do see some strawberries on this plant. I mean, I see some over there. So once it produces a crop, I'm gonna pull these babies out. Unless, all of a sudden the whole entire bed is just giving me so many strawberries I can't keep up. I do not see that happening. Excuse me. And on this side right here, of course, we've got more beans right here. I feel like these are the yellow wax beans, and then we have purple and green beans. This is the one side of this trellis is purple snow peas and one side is green snow peas. Some more collards down there, little baby ones. But right here are the loofah, and that's what will grow on the other side of the trellis. And then that teeny, let me see if I can get in there and get it for you. See that little baby pineapple ground cherry? There's a couple more seedlings coming in, but man, I thought that thing was never gonna sprout. Kale is like, finally, like, okay, I'm gonna do life. No problem. I'm here for it. I feel like I see a little worm on here I'm gonna have to kill. Nope, that's just a curly leaf. We eat kale like crazy. These are snow peas. So in the fall I grew snow peas, and I literally grew like a Jumanji jungle of snow peas with 0 peas. 0. There were even blossoms, but no peas. But I did not give them any nitrogen this time. No, none. 0. So hopefully they'll produce some peas this time. And then there's some collards mixed in there, but you can see I need to tie these up to keep them off the collards. So that'll be one of my jobs I'm going to take care of today.
You want to answer a viewer question?
A viewer question? Sure. What's a viewer question you got for me?
Sally from Saskatchewan wanted to know how you got such a handy and handsome husband. Oh, she does. And if there was a catalog she could order from, or if perhaps you just found him free range.
Yeah, free range. It was free range. We don't do farmed men. We do farmers, free range farmers. Oh my goodness. Okay. This has slowly turned into a permanent herb bed. Mostly because I love herbs. They're amazing in every way. They smell good, they taste good, they're fantastic. My daughter knew that I was always killing cilantro, so she bought me 3 cilantro plants. Miss Grace did. And so we've got this one, which is super looking good. That one down here in the corner. We've got some marigolds in here and a purple sage, which is just, sage is so pretty. I just am fascinated by purple plants. We have the basil looking super good, and so you can see the flower here on this basil. This is the cinnamon basil. So Thai basil, cinnamon basil, gosh, whichever other one, I can't think of it. Like a Tulsi is like a holy basil. I don't clip the leaves off of, or the blossoms off of there, and they're so beautiful. But now see this sweet Italian basil. I am definitely, if there's flowers on that, I'm gonna pluck them off. And same for my purple basil. Here we've got fennel growing up. So like, it was looking so sad, and now it's just thrilled. It's so happy. It must have just finally got rooted down and happy. We've got German chamomile over here, and German thyme, and lemon thyme, and then another oregano, and then cilantro for days. For days and days and days. Actually, I had to prop this one up right here with this used to hold up my lavender that was falling over. Now it's holding up my cilantro. This is cool. This is a white lavender. So the blossoms, when they pop up, I'll show them to you, they're white. How cool is that? That's anise, and anise looks a lot, the leaf looks a lot like a cilantro leaf. So I'm gonna have to look that up and see if they're related in any way. Lemon balm, which I had the hardest time finding. Thank goodness I have some now. Tarragon, and then Mexican tarragon, which is not in the tarragon family at all. My daughter, who sometimes gets tummy aches, she has a lot of food allergy issues. If her tummy hurts a little bit, she'll eat the leaves off the Mexican tarragon, and it makes her feel better. Rhubarb is looking fantastic. Another purple sage, which will fill in, like the sage is going to fill all of this in. Parsley, that needs a haircut again, like I just did it. You can see that the herbs are just exploding, and I have two super exciting things to share in here. One is that this lavender has easily 40 blossoms in here. I cannot wait for that to happen. This thyme that I have right here, which is just like a common thyme plant, so that's the thyme. It's covered in blossoms, and again, if I have something that's kind of woody like thyme or lavender, obviously, or rosemary, oregano, I allow that to blossom and bloom. I have not found it to affect the taste of my leaves at all. But here is what I am super duper excited about. Look at this. Look at those. My chives are blossoming. I'm so excited. I have been waiting since I planted this last year. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh. You've seen chive blossoms. They're so pretty. I'm so excited. I'm gonna turn you back around. My sage is also super blooming, and it is not a woody plant, but the bees, it's early spring, the bees really like it, so I'm leaving it. And let's face it, I have plenty of sage everywhere, so it's fine. I'm turning back around. We'll finish this up, and then we're going to head over to the other property, and we're going to see what's going on over there. Okay, this is the parsley. It needs another humongous haircut, even though I just gave it one. We've got our lettuce, our crunch, our romaine, and our red romaine. I had red crunch in here, but I don't actually see any red crunch in here, so maybe just didn't take. That's the back side of water. Just kidding, it's not the back side of water. If you've been to Disney, you know that's a funny joke. It's the back side of the sugar snap peas and some more collards. And then check out the fresh eating carrots. They're doing super well. Something is definitely coming in here. I'm gonna have to come in and spray these with. I use BT, diatomaceous earth, and neem. Those are my go-tos, but you can see something's eaten this. And I suspect that it is either some type of a caterpillar or slugs. Because the slugs really love to be in that strawberry bed. And I also planted some lemon gem marigolds in here because there's some spots where they didn't seed and I thought they'd be pretty in there. Then we've got over here, we've got the mint. It also could use a haircut and like some dirt refresher in here, and it'll grow back like super tall. It smells so good when you touch it. And now we're back to the pumpkins. So, oh, there is one other thing I forgot to show you. Let's take a look over here. Now, I did not plant these. What I'm about to show you is sunflowers, and I did not plant them in like the beds. They're not in the beds. They're just in the ground in the grass. When they come up, then I'm just gonna have to weed around the outside of them with the grass because of where I wanted them location-wise. That was more important to me. So I'm gonna show you where they are coming up in the grass, and I think they're gonna be so pretty. Hold on. Okay, I don't know if you can see, but we've got our little seedlings right here. And then once they pop up, they're gonna frame the arbor, which is so exciting. And there's two on the other side, and then I have two on either side of the greenhouse. And I just think they'll be cool. I'm pretty excited about that. So, all right, let's go take a look at the other property and see how it's going over there. Something I forgot to tell you is we got our first egg. It is the cutest little tiny baby egg. It's one of our, I call them sapphire gems, but they're actually blue Plymouth tent. I think that's an interchangeable name. It might not be, but I think so. They're such pretty chickens. Actually, if I turn you around, you'll see two of them right now. So one of those, we have three. One of those three pretty little blue gray chickens is laying, you know which one when you go in there because she squats, is laying eggs for us. And one of the other two that are actually squatty when we walk in there, which is kind of a good way to tell that they're getting ready to lay, is one of our olive eggers and one of our green queens. So like they'll lay a mint green egg. So I'm really excited to have some color coming in. That'll be really exciting. Hopefully you can hear me okay because the neighbor's mowing. But yeah, that's super duper exciting. And every day our 12-year-old son Toby, he runs out and he grabs like the cutest tiniest little pullet egg and brings it in. He's like, can't wait. He's like, you think she's done? Do you think she's done? I'm like, I don't know, you just have to check. So it's so cute. It's super cute. And I did put some herbs in their boxes to help them. Like I put mint and I put some lavender, and I had some thyme, so I just threw that in there to help them, and some sage to make them kind of want to go in there, and it also helps keep bugs out. So that was kind of cool. So on my way over here, I found the cutest little, there must have been a baby that was hatched over there, a little robin egg. So blue, so pretty. I want some blue eggs like that too, but we don't have any that lay quite like that. I'm watching my neighbor mow, and it's kind of funny to me because I'm in a tank top and he's literally got his hood up on his sweatshirt, and then like my husband has long sleeves on, so clearly it's one of those days where you could go either way. So let's start with the raspberries, which I'm going to turn you around and you're going to see how they're like, it's basically in the woods. It pretty much looks like it's in the woods. And the reason is because raspberries and blackberries, I don't want to say they like to grow in the shade, but they like to be in dappled sun, basically like an underbrush. And if you've ever seen them growing wild, you usually find them in the low underbrush right on the edge of a trail where they can get some sun, but they're not in all day sun. So right now they're just sticks in the ground. I'm going to just show you where we put them. but they're exactly where we want them. They basically look like sticks in the woods right now, and then they're going to look like berries in the woods, just like if you were hiking through the mountains and found them, or hiking on a trail and found them. And here is the difference. These, look at these. They're like very young. These came from Territorial. And so one of these is a golden. And then the other one's like a light pink. And then all the rest of these sticks right here are traditional raspberries. Regular traditional raspberries. And you can see how we even left like that fern right there, because they really like to be, I mean, you can plant them in a raised bed if you wanted to, but they tend to thrive when they're a part of the woods. So that's where we have that. And that's right across from where we have the witch hazel and the elderberry, and then we have the blackberries right here, which again are really part of the woodland system, like the small little piece of wood that we have over here. Those are all of our apple and pear again. And then we've got our potatoes growing. Our carrots are looking so much bigger and happier. They're really hard to see because of how we planted them in the grass, but we'll be fixing that soon. Here we've got all of our cabbage running down the line here. Looking good. More cabbage, mostly our red cabbage. So I've got them all mixed up and not labeled, but I'll know once they come in. In this row are traditional like Copenhagen and a Napa style. And then here we have the purple cabbage and have zinnias on the end. Got marigolds all mixed in. And then we've got our onions down at the end right there. This, what you're looking at right now, is something we just put in 2 days ago. And what it is sections of corn in blocks. Because that's really, if you're not a farmer with acres and acres, that's how you want to plant your corn. And then we've got pumpkins in between. And I drove over here the next day, and there were little, I didn't even know dove would eat corn. But I guess that's foolish of me, because every bird probably loves corn. And they were tossing around in here looking for the little pieces of corn. So I tied up, this was Sean's idea actually, to tie up the silvery ribbon and put out the owl, and they have not been back, thank goodness. But that's the only thing that actually came over here and trying to bother it. It was the little doves in the grass. But there's something else really cool I want to show you that was finished. Look at that driveway. Woohoo! Look at that 36-foot driveway. The states and county finally came out and permitted it, and we had a local guy come out and cover it up and drop some crush and run on top of it. We're gonna do some more shoring up right there. It's definitely fine, but we want to do some masonry work right there, and that way we can put in our, well, we're gonna put down rock first for the long driveway, but then we're gonna put in our really tall metal garage building for the camper. And then we'll have our gutters, and then we'll have our water cistern, and then I won't be hauling water over here. But that's going to be in the next video. We have a really cool watering system that Sean made, and it's made watering tremendously easier. So take a look at that. It's looking pretty good. It's like early spring. Looks like spring. Smells like spring. There's wasps and bees on everything, just like you would want it to be. I do need to come over here and handle this grass though. The onions, I'm gonna say, are pretty They're not fabulous to me. I think they should be bigger by now, but they'll be okay. They're definitely, they're getting watered and fed, and that's really all you can do. Plenty of sun. In fact, I think that might be part of their issue. They're getting a little too much sun. Okay, well that's the tour. That's the real life. This is what real life looks like. Tour. Please like and subscribe. Share with your friends. I would appreciate that. If you have any helpful comments, I would appreciate those. Oh, one other thing. I did find out that pecan trees can live for up to 200 to 300 years. And we figure that tree is probably about 70 to 80 years old. So I definitely have fertilized it already. I was going to do that. But at some point I'd like to go in and like cut away anything that might be just dead and should not be hanging around, and see what happens, because that's exciting. I mean, that tree has a lot of life left in it, if that's true. So that's kind of cool. So we'll keep you updated on that one. And next, you can look for a video on our very cool mobile off-grid watering system. But for now, that's bye for now. See you next time. And don't forget to like and subscribe.